Hey everybody, and welcome to Hex Token Channel. Your host, Superman, in the house. It is, what day is it? Sunday. It's Sunday here in good old New Zealand. It is the 12th of February. Let's pull up the screen there. We've got lots of people happening there, so let's get into the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, hit the bell. And of course, I know it's Saturday up in America, Europe, places like that, I guess. And down under, it is Sunday. So we're expecting a storm here in good old New Zealand. Our second one, I guess. This one looks like it could be quite ferocious, but it has been, I think, gone softened down a little bit there, maybe to a hurricane too, but it may last a couple of days. Coming in today, later on today, I think, and Monday, Tuesday, possibly Wednesday. So we'll see how we get on there. What else? Good big shout out. Let's see who's in the house there. Big welcome from Hex Token Channel, of course. Who else? We've got Check My Pulse, Evening Superman. Looking forward to the stream. Always great alpha on the Hex Token Channel. Or what's up, Hexkins? Hey, Check My Pulse. Welcome. Appreciate the comments there. JB says, evening all. Good to see you, JB. Greetings from Unprotected Hex. Hey, Unprotected Hex. Good to see you as always. And Brenton Eslick. Morning, Superman. Hope you still have a roof on your house still. The hurricane has missed you. Well, it's still coming there, Brennan, today. We can see the weather's changed outside. It's gone from sunny to sort of overcast, raining, light rain coming in. So it does seem to be like the edge of the storm as it's coming down from the tropics. And I think it's been sort of boxed in by, I think it's a high or something like that out on the, it's either a low or high, I can't remember now, out on the coast there, and seems to be boxed in. So we'll see how we get on. What else do we got? Brian as well. What's up, folks? Good to see you, Brian, in the house there, one of our community leaders. Very, very cool. So a big welcome, of course, to the channel. Don't forget to subscribe, smash the like button. Now, the title of the video is 3 Secrets to Pulsechain You Should Know to Succeed. So 3 Secrets to Pulsechain You Should Know to Succeed. We're going to talk about that about halfway through the live stream, so stay tuned for that. I will leave a timestamp. If you probably noticed, I've been doing that regularly now. And I think that's probably helped a lot of people that like to jump just to the section that they want to watch. So enjoy that. All right, let's get into it. What are we going to do? Let's jump on it. I think we're going to hit the horn. Why not? Our first horn for the day. Excitement, of course. Let's get into it. And let's take off Brian's comment. All right, so we've got BTC. It's up. It's been down just about 0.5%, 1.5% or so. It was actually up at the moment, just the last hour or two, started rising. And, of course, 21,850 on BTC, at 1.2%. Nice. Let's see if we can get back over 22, up to 23, 24. 24 is where it went to, so it's down from there. Ethereum, of course, is at 1,545, up 1.78%. Obviously, we're going to talk about Hex price later. Hex price going up. And, of course, that means you're getting, it's higher in US dollars and higher in ETH. You're getting more ETH. So interesting play there. But of course, Pulsechain is coming. Pulsechain is coming in stages. We're expecting testnet and in potentially mainnet. But hey, look, we'll see how we go there. I'm still pretty optimistic where we're heading. BNB there, $313 at 1.5% there. What else is looking interesting? All the stables are looking stable at PEG. We've got a couple of outstanding ones there. Ape is up 6.9%. That's pretty much it. What else is looking interesting there? We've got H-bar. I'm not really too familiar with H-bar, but that is up 16% at 8.9 cents. That's pretty nice if you're into H-bar. Congratulations. We've got another little one here. Other tokens, Mina up there. That is up 29% at $1.13. So that's doing pretty well. Now, obviously, there's big news coming out for SHIB. So we're going to talk about that. Probably do a separate video on SHIB. And the layer 2 chain for SHIB that's coming out. What's it? Shibarium, I think it's Shibarium. I'm going to do a video on that. That sounds pretty good. All right, so that's the market. Market's looking kind of cool, kind of upbeat for the weekend. And that's kind of what I hinted at earlier, I think yesterday. So that's kind of cool to see that, right? What else? We got Ted Nelson in the house there. Hey, everybody. Good to see you, Ted. Welcome to the chat there. Right, so let's jump away from the crypto market and have a look at the rankings in the top 100 and see how we're going. The crypto global market cap on nomics.com is 1.06 trillion, up 1.33%. BTC, let's have a look for the ones that have done double-digit growths over the last 24 hours, see if there's any in the top 100. I'm just scrolling through these. Everything looks pretty green. Looks like Hex has moved up to one more spot, but Hex has moved up one more spot. Woohoo! To number 16. You gotta love that. That is awesome. Yeah, that is awesome. That's right. Congratulations to Hex there, moving up one more spot, number 16. Very, very cool. I know it's been moving around a little bit there, but hey, are we going to head back towards the top 10? Let's hope so. That'd be very, very cool. We don't hope. No hope. We do. We just do. We just do. All right, so we've got H-bar there. That's the one I just pulled out, and that is up 16.6%. So very cool on H-bar, up to number 31. Hydra hash, what was it? Hydra hash graph there for the old H-bar. I might have to check that out after the live stream. That's why I'd like to point these out so that people can go and check these out and see what's going on with this particular project. So that's kind of cool. Let's scrolling down into the top 50. So we reached top 50. That was the only one that was double digits. We've got another one here, 59 Mina protocol. That's up 27% up to $1.13. Maybe there's some news about that. So if you've got that, lucky you. And if not, you go check it out, see what's going on there. What else? Let's scroll up here. We got number 69, Immutable X, IMX, 13.2%. Now, yesterday I did a video on artificial intelligent crypto. Go check that out. That's on this channel. If you're interested in that sort of stuff, check that out. It's got an overview into the projects. What else there? We're just scrolling down here. Number 83, Loop Ring, good old Loop Ring. I used to have some Loop Ring. That is up 15% at 44 cents. Baby Dodge. Baby Dodge is up 14% as well. That's at number 86, up 6 spots. What else is in the top 100 that's moved? That's pretty much it. So there we are, folks. That is the top 100. Probably what had 4 or 5 big movers there in the double digits. And the market seems to be turning green. So that's kind of cool. We can see that. Look at it. Starting to move. I think have a feeling it's starting to move there. Now, some of the news, of course. We've had some news around Solana. Solana DEX trading volume free falls as Bonk token loses popularity. I think Bonk's still holding up a little bit there, but definitely it was impacted. Solana's DEX volume dropped from its January high due to waning interest in the Bonk token. Bonk's price has dropped by more than 80% from its all-time high. The total value of assets locked in Solana DeFi protocols has also declined by 9% in February. So some interesting stuff there with the old Solana and DEX and Bonk. I do think that at the moment it's actually a little bit higher than the article. So the article here has Bonk has this trading volume at 41 million, but of course the trading volume's back up at 49, so it's managed to lift itself up there. 7-day volume 302 million at just slightly higher than the volume that they had on here, and the weekly change down 16%, and that is down now 13, so it's actually recovered a little bit there. What was I going to say about that? So that is some of the news around Solana. There's also obviously the Bonk price. Interest in Bonk appears to have waned after losing a significant amount of market value. And so let's have a look at that. The price was at 8916. We can see the price of Bonk is currently at 1597 there. It's got quite a few zeros in front of it. What's it? 7 zeros. How many zeros you got there? 3, 6. So you had 6 zeros at the time of the article. Definitely fallen since then. Dropped a 0 off down at 15974. Down 15% again today on Bonk. So Bonk. No, I'm on the wrong token. Sorry. I must have moved my token there. How the heck did I do that? I apologize for that. That's not Bonk, by the way. I got the wrong token when I pulled it up. Never mind. we'll move on. But anyway, you can check out Bonk and see where that's at the moment. It was ranked for number 598, so that is Bonk there. Bit of news. It's not often that I accidentally put on the wrong ticker, but it can happen from time to time. As long as you catch it while you're on the live stream, I guess that's the most important thing, right? All right, so that is pretty much it. We're going to get into the Hex chart, and that's where we are. So let's find out who's in the chat there. Let's see who is arrived. We've got Blobfish King in the house. Hey, Blobfish King, good to see you. Tortoise Johnny as well. Hey, Tortoise, good to see you as well. QQ says feeling bullish, market recovering. I think so. Hex, was it Hex is trunking along? QQ says, and Brennan says Bonk looks like a plonk. Yeah, it does look a little bit like a plonk there. A bit of a meme coin, right? So yeah, it's moving along there. All right. Brendan's laughing. You can't laugh at your own joke, Brendan. You can't laugh at your own joke. Maybe it was funnier when I said it out loud on the live stream. Chronic Carl's in the house there. CK, nice to see you, Chronic Carl. All right, not sure what CK means. I just know what that means. I'm not sure what that summary means. I can hear the door shaking because we've got a storm coming. So there's obviously the wind starting to brew. I may end up in Kansas. with Alice. Might be the case. All right, we got the Hex price. Look at this, Lou. Woohoo! This is the 4-hourly chart on Hex price here. 4-hourly chart here, and we had a good overnight. Look at that. We got up to 5.150 there. Let's move it to the hourly just for interest sake. So that was the hourly chart. Look at that nice little ramp up there. Isn't that cool? Where's our high here? Remember we got rejected at 5.6 cents, and Brendan told us this was very crucial to break out. Well, we ended up, Richard gave us that news around slaying the bugs. Unfortunately, the market decided to sell off all those traders and stuff. That was a sell signal for the traders, and down they went, all the way down to 4.2. That was a pretty critical support level there. We had some resistance at that previous level around about 4.2. Fortunately, it held the TA on the chart and the support there, and then we sort of inched our way back, higher lows, higher highs, and got all the way back overnight, only a couple of hours ago at, actually, just before I tuned in for the evening, actually. That was at 5.16. And then we've had a little bit of selling down. We've now got down to 4.8. Now we're starting to rise back up to 4.9. So 5 cents is looking pretty good for Hex, isn't it? 5 cents looking pretty good for Hex. But if we go out the 4-hourly chart, we can actually see this chart's still looking pretty good. We got higher lows here at 3.8, 4.2. And be nice if we can inch ourselves away and finally break that 5.6. Brendan, let me know what you think about that, with the chances of doing that. I think it's looking pretty good myself, that we're going to have another go at least at 5.6, and man, breakout past that could be pretty exciting. Now, obviously, it takes a bit more economic energy given the way liquidity pulls out at the moment, but let's have a look at the last 24 hours. Let's go to the daily chart here and have a look at the last 24 hours. We're going to get rid of the overlays. And that's our daily chart there at the moment. So far in the run, we're looking pretty good. Let's take it from here. The run at the moment, we're up 185% in 39 days, but we have been as high. I accidentally lost the mouse on that. We have been as high as 223% in 36 days. So looking pretty good. But if we break this 5.6, man, I guess anything's possible. 7.3 cents is the next target for me, and of course that could open us up to over 8 cents, 10 cents. That sort of really is quite bullish if we get past that 5.6. Going to be pretty cool. Now, let us have a look at the buys over the last 24 hours. 57% of the trades have been buys at 381 versus 280. And on the volume, 54% have been buys. So that's kind of positive. The trades and the volume buys dominate. 4.3 million to 3.5 million. Man, it's nice to see the dollar values go up so much, isn't it, on the trading volume? It really is kind of cool. Liquidity in the top pair at the moment is 9 million for the top USD V3 pair. That is a 9 million in liquidity there. Pretty cool to see that. I like that a lot. Now, the last 6 hours, we've had 47% buy volume, so the sell volume was a bit on the higher side. The last hour, that has pretty similar, 48% buy volume at the moment. So just trying to battle here. But with the market moving more positive, a good chance that our momentum will continue as well. So let's see what Brendan thinks of that before we get into the liquidity talk. Let's see where we are. I'm going to go back up to here. Wookie's in the house. Hey, Wookie, good to see you. You're going to be very happy with the old cozy yield there, Wookie. And Brendan, yo, Wookie, how was the PGA tournament? Yeah, how was the golf? Let us know. Wookie, you're at the golf there. Let us know. QQ says you'd have to be bonked on the head to buy that token, says QQ. Yeah, pretty speculative to buy any of those sort of tokens in my view. Lies Beneath in the house, how are you today? Very, very good. And of course, Lies Beneath always brings us the ultimate alpha strategy there for the channel, and that is Hex, EHEX, PLS, and PLSX for the win. So though I talk about other cryptos, but the reality is that I always take the 95% rule, and that is to have, my strategy is typically a unicorn diversification strategy. And that means I don't hold too many tokens, and I try to go for the unicorns, the ones that are going to be really, really amazing. And of course, Richard Hart's tokens fit in that camp. So that is kind of the max strategy. I talk about other crypto, but that's more of a speculative stuff, like a very small amount of portfolio, and speculating with that. That's got to remember to take that into account when I'm talking about stuff. The other thing, of course, is that the YouTube algorithm likes it when you talk about other stuff, because you actually bring in new people into the Hex Pulsechain space. So if you see me talking about other cryptos, those are the two real reasons there. So just remember, take that into account. And some people, I had a couple of comments as well, people telling me not to talk about this, and stuff like that, but they don't understand the YouTube algorithm. They really don't understand that point of view. Plus, the other thing is they're trying to cancel my freedom. As you guys know, what freedom is one of the great principles of how the modern world flourishes. So we're going to keep our freedom on this channel. Yeah, if you're out there, stop commenting about what you want me to cover and not cover, or at least not cover, as I should say. Brennan's out there, says, great chart structure at the moment for Hex, says Brennan. Rest of the market looking good as well, promising for a further push up. Yeah, I think so. I think that's a good summary on that one too. Nice one, Wookie, says Brennan. Let's jump through some of this. We've got Hex down under, Superman, hope all is well. Popped in to say good day, off to play some golf. Woo! Hey, Hex down under, enjoy the golf. Maybe you and Wookie can get together and have a game of golf at some stage. That sounds pretty good to me. All right, nice. All right, let's get into it. So, 5.159, and of course the high of the day so far is 5.1. Let's see what we can do over the next few hours and the rest of Sunday, and of course in America it's Saturday leading into Sunday. So still got quite a bit of weekend if we take the US time frame into account. We'll see how we get on. Now the Hex whale bot, let's have a look at that. The last 22 hours we had this stake end here. Penalty, negative 32% ROI on the whale bot, 687,000 Hex in penalties. Thank you for your service. Let's see what people say about that. Locked up, yeah. So we've got some funny stuff in there. So that is in the house. We got 19 hours ago. We had 5 million Hex bought for 239,000 US dollars. Let's see what people make about that comment more. So people liking that. What else we got going there? 16 hours ago, 4.4 million Hex bought for 218,000. That's pretty cool. So it's pretty nice there. A boom here. It's got 20 EMA on the weekly since the beginning of Hex on V3. Has been above 50 EMA for the approximate year. We've been under that for less than a year now, and it's ticking up. Maybe a few more months of the 20 EMA ticking up, eventually crossing the 50 EMA. 1 year bull run there. So there's a couple of comments on that one. And let's scroll up to the top here. So we had some good buys on the whale bot. We had some good penalties on the whale bot. You keep winning, right? You got buys and yield. It's crazy. Good times. And of course, this one here had some penalties, early in staked as well. Let's have a look at this one here. Thank you for not reading the white paper. That's for a dude. Yeah. So we got some funny comments on there. I like reading the comments because it's always funny to see. We got this one here, 6.6 million Hex, 153% ROI and a 50% APY. That's amazing. And of course, 10 million Hex in the yield. We saw this yesterday and the day before. Why are we seeing this at the moment? Because we've still got, even though we've still got some old OG stakes that were people that staked out for 3 years or so, that are coming mature. That's why we've been seeing a couple of these come along the last couple of days. And we have seen these earlier in the year, across in the year, as we passed over year 3. We've seen a couple of these ones that sort of went out a bit further, or at least staked a bit later, maybe a couple of months into Hex launch, and they were staking early there. So we're seeing a bit of this stuff going on. And some of them, this one here is 1,115 days. So, that's about 2 months after Hex started. So that's pretty cool. So December, January, February. So this is like a February stake 2020. And look at this, T-shares, 1,067 T-shares. So that would make it a dolphin stake, wouldn't it? A dolphin stake. So that's kind of cool. And they got a beautiful yield, yeah. Moved most of it to another wallet and combined it with his rolling 1.6 million 30-day stake. Didn't see how long this one was, but likely 30 days, get rich, yeah. So, and then suck out your yield repeatedly. But of course, we know the Hex Whalebot's going to be addressing some of those issues there, or at least the big stake that's coming out. So that's kind of cool. All right, so that is with the Whalebot there. Let's keep going, man. We've had some good yield and good buys. So it's a good day in the office for the Hex. Another negative 38% ROI here. Crazy stuff. Early in staking 2, 438. This is crazy. A couple of these today. Man, oh man, the yield just keeps coming. The yield just keeps coming, folks. 3.7 million Hex sold, $190,000. That was 8 hours ago. Let's see what people say about this. They're probably going to be really... yeah. It's, I wish I could sell the pumps like this clown. Yeah. That is some comments in there. And then we had 3 hours ago, 300,000. So a big seller in there, obviously 3 hours ago. That limited our move up. But hey, we're still moving higher. So it looks looking pretty good. More than happy to buy your bags while we're still down here at 90% discount. Yeah, really good observation. So that is some of the cool stuff with the Whale-Bot. Let's go over to liquidity. Let me refresh the liquidity here on V3. This is the V3, the biggest liquidity pair that we use for our chart on this channel, as you can see. And let's have a look at liquidity, see what this looks like. And let's zoom in on this. So the red line is obviously the market price at the moment. The volume on the right, the Hex volume on the right is on the buy side, and so that's your bids, and on the left side here is your sell side, that's your asks. And you can see that each column here, like the next column, if we're going to move the price higher to 4.97, there's 1.6 million Hex in there. So as you go up, you've got all these blocks of Hex for sale. So by the time we get up to 5.4 cents, remember 5.6 is that resistance zone. That's what we want to smash through. So 5.4 here at the moment. Now, often, obviously, liquidity moves with the price, especially if you're on V3 and V2. You're trying to move. If your goal is to make more fees, you need to keep your liquidity there around the fees. And of course, sometimes if people want the price to go up, we've got bigger whales trying to get the price to go up, and they can manipulate liquidity completely and get a big buy wall, or make people forced to go over them, things like that. So it's kind of cool at the moment. Looks pretty normal at this stage, but definitely got a lot of buy support on the right hand side. This doesn't include limit orders and off market buys. So basically people got USDC, ETH in their wallets, and of course I did post yesterday the whale alert about some of the top 500 ETH holders. One of the most used contracts is Hex, so it's gaining a lot of popularity now. Obviously some people may have a lot of ETH that they've got from Hex in the past, and they probably may be up there, but we already obviously got people like Hex Godwell. They've got a lot of ETH as well, so it's going to be interesting to see that. It's a pretty good sign though to get a little whale alert from that. It is kind of there with the liquidity. And let's have a look at overall liquidity for Hex. So we're here on lookintohex.com. Now all these links are in the Discord under useful links. If you want to find them, they're all there. So it's kind of cool. Let's do a refresh of this too, just because sometimes it can change pretty fast. All right, so looks like we got almost close to 60% on the bid on the buy side and 41% on the sell side, the ask there. So 11.5 million versus 8 million. That's pretty cool, right? That's pretty cool. It's nice to see that flip back. And 2 days ago, I think we had this flip back around where the ask was 60%. So it's kind of good news too. So definitely looking good for the chart on the Hex chart. We're currently at 4.966, and of course, let's see how we can inch up over the weekend here and challenge that move. So currently up 7% on the 24 hours is Hex. So it's kind of nice, very nice. All right, let's see who else is in the house. We've got probably a few more comments. Let's have a look here. We got Hexforce 1 has landed. Hey, at work, just stopping in to smash the like. Catch up later. Hey, Hexforce 1, good to see you. Have a good day at work. And Brent says, nice logo, Hex Down Under. What does Hex Down Under logo look like? Oh, yeah, that's pretty cool with the old Hex there. I think I used that on the thumbnail yesterday. Like it up, folks. Says Hexog. Yeah, definitely smash the likes, hit the subscribe button, and share the channel around. That really does help with the algorithm. And if you want to support the channel, hit the join button. We've got Pulsechain, Hexskins, and the Richard Hart Club. And of course, we actually have the Discord. So it's free on the Discord. You got all the links you could possibly want in Discord for Hex and Pulsechain, for Maximus, Icosa, Hedron, and of course for all the Pulsechain ecosystem projects. That's all there. All the links are there. We separate the chats out between Richard Hart and the Pulsechain project chats, but get in there. We really do value freedom, so we try to make it talk about as much as possible. Now we are a family channel, and we are a no drama channel. We do our best to keep those principles as well. So just remember that in the chat. Yeah, here is the Discord link. Thanks, Wookie, posting that. Perfect timing. Brandon says the memes in the Whalebot are on point. yeah, they're pretty funny. Kristen Collins in the house there. Hey, hello, familia. Very, very cool. Yeah, so not only does the Discord have really great information, but has great community. And the cool thing is it's free. I've looked at a lot of other YouTubers in the Hex and Pulsechain space, and quite a few of them, or at least a decent percentage, are charging for a lot of stuff. Whereas the Discord here on the Hex Token channel is absolutely free, and we want people to flourish. So it's hopefully as cheap as possible as you can do that. That being said, of course, I do appreciate any support that is offered to the channel. It does help a lot, and appreciate that. All right, let us get into it. We got Hedron. Let's go into Hedron. Hedron, this is Wookie's favorite topic. Hedron is at 2449 with 5 zeros in front, and this is up 7.24% as well. So it looks pretty much the same as Hex on the old 4-hourly chart here. We've got this, and it looks like we're getting a bullish cross as well on Hex with the EMA 21. The 9-day EMA over the 21 days. So it's looking kind of cool. Let's have a look at the daily here. And daily looking pretty nice as well. And let's have a look at the RSI. So the RSI is at 64, so still very bullish on the RSI. And the demand here is picked up on the DMI. So the DMI here and the trend, confirmed trend is still confirmed. So this is looking good here. Sellers are tipping them down. So that's looking good for the old Hedron. And of course up 7% on the 24 hours. We got 74 buys, so 70% buys here, over 31 sells in activity, and the volume is 70% as well. So 70% on the buy activity, trades, and 70% on the buy volume. So really cool to see that. And we had a little bit of selling in the last 6 hours, but the last hour we've got a little bit of buying coming in here as well. So good news for the old Hedron there. Let's have a look at the Hex HSI auctions. So 4,173 in the liquidation queue that has to be pulled into the auction. And remember, we're coming up tomorrow, I guess. We'll have all those Hex, that second round of the Hex HSIs. I guess it's tomorrow, and the 12th of February. And we're expecting to see 1,000. I think it's about 6,000 to 7,000 the first day. But over the next following month, I think it gets up to about 25,000. So on T-shares up for grabs. So that's going to flow into this liquidation queue on top of all these. And there'll be some big ones in there. It's going to be fun to see. Now, the actual auction houses has 29 at the moment. So let's go to that, have a look at some of the bigger T-shares in the auction house. Now you can go bid on these with Hedron, and of course the links and the useful links on Discord under app.icosa.pro. And this was made by Alex McFurter, the founder of Hedron and Icosa. So cool. Let's have a look here. Some T-shares, 1.62 T-shares. Just jumping through there. 12 T-shares here for 100,000 Hex. It's got 802 million Hedron bid on it so far. Now 50 to go. Let's have a look at some here. 12 T-shares, 26 T-shares here. And you can see the bids that are currently on here at the moment. 36 T-shares, there's a couple of those. Let me know in the chat if you've actually bid successfully on a Hex HSI. I think Brendan has done that. So let me know in the chat if you have done it. If you haven't commented on that, let us know. We've got 17 T-shares here as well. 23 hours to go there. So this is the next 24 hours with the Hex HSIs. Very cool. Let's jump away from that into Dev Huey. So we had 4 watts of NFTs burned in the last 24 hours. So that is 15 million endpoints though, and that's actually more important is the endpoints. So let's have a look. Big day in the office actually, not bad. Yesterday, of course, we had that huge day, close to $50,000 worth. Unbelievable. That's a good day. And then we had here about 15,000. Now, obviously, the Icosa price has been a lot higher, and so people, I guess, capturing that yield. When you burn your NFT, you capture the Icosa, and but you lose you don't get any more yield after that. So it's the last man standing, or as I always like to make funny, the last crowd standing, because no one's given them up. Just about it's about 2.5% so far, maybe 2.6% of watts have been burned. So it's not much at all. Let's go to Icosa. And let's have a look at the volume here. I'm going to go to Icosa USDC. Why not? And it's down 9% on the 24-hour. Wow. Okay. So it's had quite a bit of sell-off, and that's some of that yield being captured, right? Some of that yield being captured, no doubt, and selling down. We're at 90 cents. We're up here 3 days ago, and we've got down as low as 58 cents. So that is how low we've been, but we're currently at 66 cents. That's still around just above break even, I think, for the early people. So still looking pretty handsome there on the 66 cents for Icosa. How many buys? We've had 60% buys, 121 buy trades, 47% buy volume versus 53. So 100,000 versus 108,000 versus 121,000 there on the old volume trade there. All right, that is Icosa, and that is the burn. Now, how many are left? 21,641. What's the NFTs are left? So it's like 97.4% or something. It's still massive, still massive. All right, BNB. I wanted to talk about this briefly. This is a BNB pot. Now, I will be having, trying to schedule a interview probably for later in the week after the storm goes through, because I didn't know what would happen, whether I have to run from the house or I'll be in some sort of emergency area. Who knows what could happen? Or if that doesn't happen, that the internet cuts out or something. Who knows? Anything really weird could go on. So I will be trying to have an interview with BNB Pot. Yes, folks. So it's going to be cool. And we do have an update on that. So cool. I wasn't going to read out the update today, but I might do a special video on BNB Pot by itself because the update's quite brief. So I'll do the update video for BNB Pot, and then we've got the interview with the founder, I believe, possibly next week sometime. So I look forward to that. That's going to be hopefully be the biggest update on BNB Pot that we've had out there for a while. I do know that they are going on another channel as well. But I'm not sure of the timing of that. So that's going to be cool. Look forward to the BNB Pot update. Now, obviously, the BNB Pot has had a little rally in the chart after the big sell-off. And the reason why is because if you think about there's 5 sacrifices, 5 blockchains. One sacrifice, the 5 blockchains. This is the first sacrifice project to really launch. So, and it did a 30x on the price. And the way you'll calculate that is that there's 5 chains. $5 was the sacrifice amount, and so it's like $1 each. So, I think the sacrifices could sell down to $1 and break even, right? So it didn't quite get to that, but it got down to about 90. Oh, it actually did get to that. Actually, got down to about 96 cents here on the bottom. Yeah, 96 cents. It did actually just spike below that, but it has bounced today. Look at the bounce, and you can see the RSI here on the daily on BNB Pot there. Now, remember, this is the world's first peer-to-peer crypto casino, so it's really a new technology in crypto, but it's also really complicated compared to most dApps that we talk about. Because there's lots of price calls and lots of clever stuff in there. A lot of the dApps just don't have that complexity. And so it's just a credit to Jacob at BNB Pot how this is working. So it's taken a bit longer to get some of the products out there and things like that. But they are coming slowly and surely. And that's kind of cool on the technology front. So anyway, a rally today, and it went from $1.52 to $2.69. So up 63% today. That's pretty cool. And nice to see it sort of moving back to a better valuation for this project. Obviously, with Sacrifice, people get a lot of tokens. There's also a lot of the 100,000 participation wallets being paid out, and we had to absorb that sell pressure. And then the project has a chance to move forward with intrinsic value as volume and new products and stuff launch. So I think that's going to be cool to see that as well. All right, that is pretty much it. We will keep covering that at least in full. I'll do a separate video, and of course we're going to try and get a special live stream with the founder Jacob and give us all the latest and greatest info. So stay tuned for that, especially if you are participating in the staking side of BNB. All right, that is pretty much it. Let's jump over to some of the Pulsechain project news, but we're not starting with internet money yet. We're going to jump all the way back here. That's not supposed to be there. They got front run. Internet money tried to front run. Damn you, KG! You're not even on this live stream and you're trying to front run this show. That's crazy stuff. All right. A round of applause for the old KG there. All right, he's not even here to defend himself, which is really bad. He should poor form, Superman. Poor form. I might get rugged. Who knows? All right, let's see who else is in the chat here before we move on. I think we've got the Church of Universal Oneness in the house there. Peace and prosperity all. Hey, it's been a little while since we've seen you in the chat there. Great to see you. Who else is here? Ted Nelson said, yes, I have done several HSI auctions, about 30% savings. Well done there, Ted. Congratulations to you on that with the Hedron Hex HSI auctions. We got Meme Ticks in the house there. Sup, everybody? Good to see you, Meme Ticks. And of course, let's give you a little welcome. A little welcome to you. Very, very cool. All right, let's move on, folks. What are we doing here? So, yeah, we're into Pulsechain, folks. So the title of the video was 3 Secrets of Pulsechain You Should Know to Succeed. 3 Secrets of Pulsechain You Should Know to Succeed. So here we go, folks. We're going to talk about Pulsechain updates, and then we're going to get into the 3 things secret things you should know to succeed on Pulsechain. And I think it's going to be pretty important. Let's get into it. So Richard so far has given us a number of updates leading into testnet v3, which is really going to be testnet 1, v1 of proof of stake fork of Ethereum. Remember, Ethereum proof of stake fork occurred on the 15th September last year. It's been very successful, and obviously Pulsechain is forking the proof of stake. About 20 days after that, Richard Hart announced that instead of going with the proof of work, which had some issues, was go with the proof of stake, which was awesome. That was great news from our point of view, because it's future-proofed and upgradable. So it's really neat to see that, and it's environmentally friendly if you like that too. So Richard gave us a first teaser. He gave us a teaser about the validation side. So they got their validation front end here. We found out that we need 32 million pulse for that, and of course that was about $3,200 that sacrifice price. So that was really cool to find that out. And I have said many times that we're going to see a lot of innovation on the Pulsechain front with the staking. We could see, obviously, people can solo stake with that 32 million, set up a node and stake their pulse. People will be, I think, see pooled mechanism where people will be able to pool their pulse. Maybe you haven't got 32 million pulse, and you can go on with some pooled solutions. I think possibly, this is my speculation, but possibly we might see people like David Feder or Alex McFurter doing things like that. Be interesting to see. So that's kind of cool stuff. And then, of course, we might see other options doing that as well. Like centralized exchanges. And so we might have a native one, maybe Overwatch, Rack and Michelle's, everything blockchain might do something like that. So I think it's going to be fun to see that. And big exchanges, of course, will also want to get in their positions. We see this with other chains. They want to get in positions with the main chains, and everybody, I think they have a realistic view of where Pulsechain is going to be. And we're going to look at that in a second, so stay tuned for that. So that's kind of cool. We got Richard Hart, of course, also put out after that. He put out a view of the block explorer here with all the 10-second block times on the testnet. This is the private testnet run by the team, so not public testnet that we're waiting for, and the 10-second block times. We got familiarity with, obviously I did this the other day with ETH chain. We were having just the terminology on the blockchain with epochs and slots and blocks and transactions and how that all works. I did a video covering that the other day, so you can check that on the channel. Then, of course, we got an update with Richard with the blockchain explorer that we're used to. Of course, this has been updated. It actually looks pretty nice. I think they've done just little subtle changes. Looks kind of nice there on the block exchange for V3 testnet, the top left there, and 10-second block times. Pretty cool. Obviously, there's only 6 wallets on here, so it's not system state copy, but it's kind of cool to see all this up and running. That was kind of neat. And then we saw Richard give us the update about Aragon. So Aragon, they started off with Prism and Geth as the base client. So Geth being the execution client, and Prism being the consensus client. Those are those two. And so that's where they wanted to start off with, but then they realized that their block explorer needed to have Aragon, so that the best one had to Aragon. So they ended up adding Lighthouse and Aragon to that. So Aragon being the execution client, and Lighthouse being the consensus client. So we've got two execution clients now, which really dominate about 85%, 90% of Ethereum anyway. So we're going to have that straight off the bat. So it's pretty cool with Geth and Aragon. Aragon being a simplified fork of Geth. And obviously the data requirements are about a third to a quarter lower, so it makes it really efficient as well. So that's kind of cool, and it is faster to generally sync up as well. It has sequential steps to step through, and of course we've been following that through step 7 and 8, which Richard's posted about. It's been kind of cool. Now the other thing, of course, is that we've also got obviously Prism and Lighthouse as a consensus clients there, and that's typically what you set up with a node, and you can either stake your validate with your 32 million pulse. So that's going to be fun to see that too. People can either set up nodes, or like I say, there'll be some sort of pools that people are able to participate with. So that's going to be pretty neat. So that was kind of a cool update from Richard. And then of course we got the bug slaying post. Maybe we didn't need this one, but of course Geth and Aragon are building the same hex, because obviously they're up to the testing phase. We got told that code was complete. They were doing testing phase, bug phase, all that sort of stuff. Private testnet, that's all cool. And what stays in Vegas, happens in Vegas, stays in Vegas. It was a bit like that. So that's kind of cool. We got all these updates about the bug that was occurred. And anyway, we pretty much found out, obviously, this was up to about 99.7% synced or whatever. And we only needed about 16 million more blocks, but it got stuck at this block here, 15,669,697. So they had to obviously work through that. They are working with the Aragon team directly as well. And of course, this is one of these things that you're going to do when you're testing private testnet. You're going to have maybe some issue that they're going to have to work out what it is. And then they of course, they've got the snapshot of the state. Once they worked it out, then they just keep moving forward and finish it off. So it's kind of cool. In step 7. So that was kind of updates. Those are updates from Richard so far. And what else have we seen? We've seen, as I said earlier, with centralized exchanges probably doing staking as well, offering staking as a service. Obviously, we've seen some issues around that. So it will be interesting to see how that goes forward with some of the other exchanges. We saw Kraken get cracked down by the SEC. But I really think it's more about how you regulate, how you disclose terms of service and things like that, how you operate. And of course, as long as you're doing that, it should be okay. We'll see. In any case, we've got here on CoinGecko, we've got Pulsechain listed, preview only. So we're already on CoinGecko, and people cannot ignore a giant chain. This we've got to have a pretty good degree of confidence that Pulsechain is probably going to end up in the top 5 chains. Of course, we have even bigger ambitions with that, aspirations. But top 5 would be a pretty good spot. And we've got everything. If you watched my video yesterday, looking at the Pulsechain was going to change DeFi video, that is a huge. Now I'm going to separate that presentation out into a separate video today, and I'll post that later on. But that's huge how big our ecosystem is. I'm also going to, that's just the overview. I'm going to be doing a deep dive, so you're going to wait for that video. That video is going to be really exciting. It's going to give you great understanding of where the value is going to come through. And we can take that value, especially if we do the modeling, and we can actually work out real world prices where we think Pulsechain can go. So it would actually be the most definitive valuation of Pulsechain, most realistic view doing this kind of approach. So stay tuned for that, folks. All right, so we got preview only here for Pulse. That's on CoinGecko, so it's kind of exciting, right? We'll wait till that has prices, man. Everyone's going to be mad. Cool thing, of course, is that people are going to be able to see it here. And, of course, if the valuation, if it gets valued properly on here with the circulating supply and stuff like that, it should mimic Ethereum, right? So it should mimic Ethereum with the amount of tokens up there and the valuations. So because we are forking Ethereum, proof of stake, should have a similar circulating supply. So it's going to be fun to see that play out. All right, so that is Pulsechain on CoinGecko, waiting for the chain to launch, and then of course we have CoinMarketCap as well. The CoinMarketCap here is waiting as well. I'm not sure if I didn't have dark mode on here, but there's we got Pulsechain waiting here as well. Market data is on track because it's not live yet. Ethereum fork with allocated proof of stake here, validates short 3-second block times, and no mining, no inflation. Now obviously this is based on the old information, but it's kind of cool. And that's Pulsechain on CoinMarketCap. So very exciting. Now we already know this is going to be on coinomics.com, and it's going to be on Rack & Rochelle's coin listing site. So we're going to be well covered on the coin listing sites. This is very important for people to see. So it's pretty cool. I just don't suspect we'll see any gatekeeping with this being a main chain. So that could be good. That would be a real identifier with based on that. But we know that a lot of people have sacrificed, and so I think that's going to be fine. Including we've had exchanges talking to Richard Hart as well and listing sites. So it's going to be fun. So that's on CoinMarketCap. So very bullish. We've also got listing on Binance. Now Binance is the dominator, right? They dominate the exchanges by volume. They're massive. They dominate big Bitcoin trading. And of course, here we are, Pulsechain price here sitting on Binance. So really, really big. You can see things are moving forward, and it's going to be hard to ignore. Pulsechain is going to be absolutely epic. And like I say, very comfortable saying that we're targeting a top 5 position. I actually think that we have the chance to really dominate and move even higher. But top 5 is pretty handsome. I'm sure we'd all agree with that. So Pulsechain price here on Binance. It's going to be fun to see this play out as well. This coin is not listed on Binance for trader service yet because it's not launched, right? So, but it is sitting there waiting for the Pulsechain price. Very, very cool on Binance. So fun. Let us see what else that we got. So we're going to talk about that. That's pretty cool. Now I'm going to get into a lot of these things here at the moment, so let's stay tuned for that. We're going to go through the projects a little bit there. So that's all Pulsechain stuff coming up there. Obviously, we've got a lot of project teams in Pulsechain launching. We've got a major announcement here by Internet Money only a couple hours ago. Internet Money wallet dividend has been launched on BSC, Ethereum, and Pulsechain testnets, and airdrop the sacrifices who participated in the movement of freedom of time. We will be pushing an update to iOS, Android, and Chrome soon that will allow for testing WD on these testnets. See firsthand how earning passive income on Pulse, ETH, and BNB will function. So WD is their new token for the wallet, and that's bullish to see that. So check your sacrifice points balances as well. Contract addresses here, BSC, Ethereum, and Pulsechain with the testnet there. So this is really, 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 really cool. So that's kind of neat. Let's check out the old Pulsechain. Obviously, WD, if you sacrifice your Internet Money wallet and the WD, look at it there. Woohoo! That's that cool. So that's really good words from, this is a big milestone from Internet Money. Remember, Richard talks about vertical integration on Pulsechain. One of the features is a new MetaMask. And of course, Internet Money is doing that. Richard Hart is doing a wallet. So that's going to be cool. We're going to have at least 2 native Pulsechain wallets. And I talked about that in yesterday's video, how Pulsechain is going to change the future of DeFi. It's really, really big. So that's cool to see that. Well done to KG and his team. Got a pretty big team there. We are still on pace to launch WD on Ethereum and BSC and Pulsechain if it's live mainnets within the next 7 weeks. OMG. Is that awesome or what? So that's cool. I'm going to retweet that. I'll copy the link in the chat there as well. Definitely check that out. That is so awesome. This is only a couple hours old, and definitely check that out. So if you've sacrificed for Internet Money, things are starting to get real. We already talked about BNB pot that's about to launch, and that launched already. That was the first sacrifice. Now we're seeing Pulse. We're seeing Internet Money as well. So coming in number 2 there from based on what I can tell. Very bullish indeed, folks. This is really, really exciting. So Pulsechain's not even launched, but we've got all the top projects launching, and this is great news for us. So obviously, launching on other chains, you get copied over to Pulsechain. You've obviously got bring in new crowds, new audiences for Pulsechain. It's really, really cool. It's a win all around. It really is fantastic. So very cool. Earn passive income, free your time. So that is fantastic. Spread that around. Already 4,400 views. I imagine that's going to ramp up pretty quickly there on the old Internet Money. And as you can see, that was only 4 hours ago. It was about 3 hours ago after I had looked there. 7,000 views now on it. So definitely get out there. Really, really good. Let's see what people say about that. Probably a few comments. Haven't been paying much attention to this airdrop for the first and second phase. Both on testnets there. Very cool. Pulsechain's in the house there. Let's go. And JB says thanks. So we've got lots of people in there as well. So very, very cool. This is a really good step. So within 7 weeks, man, ETH and BSC, very, very bullish here for the old Internet Money. Now, obviously, people have to use the wallet, but they've got a good start to it. They've got a good start indeed. We can't deny that KG's been out there doing social media. A lot of people have been downloading the test wallet. And of course, when it goes fully live, it's going to be fantastic. And earning fees in real time. If you did the multi-sacrifice, earning the fees, instead of MetaMask, a centralized earning $100 million a year, whatever it is, you're going to earn some of the fees. And obviously, it's in your self-interest to spread the word about changing wallets and using new wallets. And obviously, that's going to be fun to see. So very, very cool. The other big news, of course, we had from Coast team. Coast, of course, bringing the fiat on-ramp, off-ramp to Pulsechain. And, of course, launching on Ethereum first. That's going to be bullish. And, of course, having their own stablecoin, a fiat-backed stablecoin, which is the preferred method of Richard Hart. And that's going to be bullish, right? So Coast is bringing out this. But they also have their own token ecosystem. And, of course, they are giving a weight token away to those who sacrifice for 8 different sacrifices on Pulsechain. And, of course, they have got a new update today that their weight version 2 dashboard is coming. So they obviously got a new token for the actual mainnet when it goes live. And they've got the dashboard coming together in private testnet. Remember to claim your weight token, your weight on Ethereum before Pulsechain is live. So that's important there. I'm going to post this in the chat there as well. So we've got some really cool alpha updates today. So I hope you guys are enjoying them all because they're lots of fun. I love it when we have updates. So that is kind of cool. That is the Coast. And you can see the update there. Very nice indeed. All right, so let's have a look at the UI though. Woohoo! I think it's kind of cool. Sometimes I like these kind of simplistic type of looks. We've got all the dashboards. So we've got Pulsechain, all the different sacrifices. So Pulsechain, PulseX, Liquid Loans, Hurricash, Mintra, Genius, and Fiat and IMD. Now, obviously, the longer you wait until Pulsechain launches, the more weight tokens you earn. It's just that way. And of course, they've got the claim here. and the midnight bonus as well. Remember, the midnight bonus is going to be cool. Even if you have claimed your weight token, you can participate in the midnight bonus. It's kind of neat like that. So they got the weight token version 1 and the weight token version 2. Obviously, the weight, if you claim now, you get the weight version 1. You can sell that if you want on the market, and then you can, you won't be able to claim it because you won't have it anymore, but you'll get the weight version 2. But you will get some of the midnight bonus, so you'll be able to claim that later as well. So obviously, that's pretty cool. 1 weight V1 equals 1 weight V2, and you can convert it after the mainnet launches. And of course, they'll have the countdown there as well. Coast, a Pulsechain development company. I like that. It's very, very alpha. All right, so that is kind of cool there with that. And what I was going to say about that is that they had a couple of Q&As in here. So this person asked, we have to claim and convert before Pulsechain, claim after, convert before. So you can obviously claim before Pulsechain, but obviously the longer you wait, the more you get. I know that Sandy Beach is waiting, and that's kind of cool. Let me get rid of this comment on there. And then, of course, we had, what else we had? Someone else said, if I claim now, then when do I swap on V2 after mainnet? So if you claim it and you don't sell it, then you can convert it to version 2 after mainnet launches. So that's pretty much it. So once mainnet launches, you can convert it to version 2. That's pretty cool. But I like the UI. I think the UI is kind of fun and simple. Nice, easy conversion one there. So if you're not familiar with this, sometimes projects have this sort of thing. Where you have the original token and then convert it later on. So it does. I haven't seen as many of those these days, but that's just one approach that you can do. So that's number 2 alpha update there. Pulsechain, Power City. Yeah, another one. These are all our top tier projects on Pulsechain. We've got Power City coming out here. Exciting news. After working on this for a while now, Toshibi. Don't tell anyone I said that. Toshiflow and I have our first in-house demo for our AI crypto platform this Monday. Yeah, boy! It gets better and better and better. I just talked about AI. That is cool, right? That is cool. That is cool. No, I know. I like it too. It's pretty cool. Exciting news. After working on this for a while, Toshiflow and I have our first in-house demo for our AI platform this Monday. Isn't that cool? So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, coming to Pulsechain, no doubt. That is very, very exciting. So give that a like. I think that probably hasn't had enough views that people may have not have seen it. So that's kind of cool. So definitely go there. I'll post this in as well. So this is Power City AI. I'm not exactly sure what it's going to be doing and stuff like that, but this just said it's a crypto platform. We will see. I think it'll be pretty cool. It might bust out. This might be an early green shoot. Must be, if you like a little bit of speculation, how I talked about earlier, a little bit of crypto and speculation, because there's cool innovative things, there's cool things to potentially some wild cards, and this is kind of cool for that. So definitely go and like that, and maybe try and ask them some questions, squeeze out some insights into that, whatever it is. So we'll be staying tuned for that. I think it's going to be pretty cool there as well. So big shout out to Pulse Jesus and Toshiflow. We look forward to that as well. Now, we've also got another one, InvestX. So InvestX here got something big reveal coming up. So under 3 days left until big reveal from InvestX. So there's InvestXEO here on Twitter. Big reveal. We are getting close. We're getting close now. InvestX often drops into this chat, into our chat, and has done a pretty good, amazing platform actually, and is really starting to gain momentum in users and adoption, and bring a lot of new products to the platform. So it's pretty cool. Obviously, you can check that out. So it's got the big reveal 2 days and 5 hours ago. So I'm going to post a link to this as well, share that around, and definitely go check it out. Say hello, ask them any questions, and maybe download the platform and see what you think of it. InvestX. So let's have a look. InvestX. So go check that out. And I know Sandy's a big rising influencer on Twitter, so maybe Sandy can get out there and ask some questions as well. There we are. So that is InvestX, looking pretty good. That is pretty cool. I like the video there with the countdown. So looking forward to that one. So that is InvestX there, folks. That are the 4 big updates here for Pulsechain. Obviously, some things happening on ETH and BSC before Pulsechain as well. Good to see teams, getting up and running. Very, very cool. Now, the one thing I wanted to say was we're going to get into the main event. 3 secrets of Pulsechain you should know to succeed. All right. So the first one I wanted to say is that pre-launch. This is number 1. Pre-launch. You really want to get your ERC20s, your ETH peers. That have got ETH peers in particular, because these are the ones that are going to be harvested by the AMM bot, right? So they're going to get harvested, and of course with the LP, and they're going to be put into the Pulsechain, right? So they're going to have theoretically the first trade, the first big liquidity in those ETH pairings. So it's very important that you take that into account, especially pairs that are popular and have a high amount of ETH in them. They're going to get harvested and put into the Pulsechain. So obviously they're going to have nice little liquidity pairs pulled up there. People are going to ratio trade in the first day or two, and then of course stablecoins will run through. I actually think stablecoins are going to run through much faster than people expect, so we'll probably get a US dollar price in there. So it's going to be pretty cool. Now, obviously, the top tokens to think about, obviously Hex at the moment is a proxy for Pulsechain. So all the Pulsechain news we get around testnet and everything else, Hex is the only way. It's the founder's coin. It's the only one available. You can't get Pulse yet, can't get Pulsex yet, can't get the incentive token yet. So it really is the only one that is reflective of the Pulsechain. So it really is a proxy for Pulse PLS at the moment. Obviously, that will not be the case when Pulsechain launches, because we'll actually have the Pulse coin. Remember, it's not a token; it's a coin. So the one that's going to be used for the fees for Pulsechain, and that's going to be exciting. So in the meantime, Hex is probably the top choice, right? Richard's also indicated in the past, obviously no expectations, that we could see some pretty fat liquidity pairings as well between EHEX and PLX there. But he's also mentioned, obviously, that he suspects that a lot of the users will come onto Pulsechain because it will be relatively cheaper compared to Ethereum, and so Hex will be probably face more retail demand in particular on Pulsechain than perhaps Hex on ETH chain. That being said, of course, my view is that the competing APY on both chains and the value of both chains will mean that Hex on both chains will be pretty good in terms of passive income and valuable. And of course, Richard's also talked about anything that he launches, he wants them to all to be really good, right? So it's very exciting there. Now, so that's pretty much it. Now, obviously, you can ratio trade in the first day or two, but that's very speculative. And we have a ratio from Hex to PLS based on the sacrifice price at the 15th of July, which was about 1 to 1300. So that's there. So anything that's going to be variation from there is going to be interesting. Now the Pulsex testnet price, that is I wouldn't take that for much at the moment, because this is Pulsex and it's testnet, and it's I wouldn't be taking much from that ratio on there. Now, generally, the directions of the ratios, that's interesting on the Pulsex testnet, but apart from that, I wouldn't. So cool. We also know, obviously, the price of Hex at the time was around, at the sacrifice, particularly the 15th of July, was around about 13 or so cents. And of course, now it's down at around 5 cents. So you got to take that into account. Now, we're assuming you can do different modeling if you assume that Pulse is still holds the same value as the 15th of July. I mean, so that's the thing we don't know. That's the wild card. That's why it's very volatile. Obviously, the liquidity pairs, I'm expecting them to be pretty juicy, but they may be fairly thin. If they're fairly thin, then of course that you're going to get a lot more volatile with thinner liquidity. And of course, you've also got the big whales, right? So the big whales and sharks, they're going to be playing their game, and they're going to have an advantage and perhaps a disadvantage depending on how many are playing at the same time. So this is what we mean. It could be quite volatile on the first day or two. But in any case, pre-launch strategy is the first secret there of Pulsechain. Is really, look for the ones with the biggest ETH pairs, the most popular, thinking of SHIB and Link and things like that. Obviously Hex, for example, being the top of that game, because obviously Richard Hart is, no expectations, but going to pump his coins, right? This whole Pulsechain is going to be glorious for the RH ecosystem. Then, of course, it's also going to be a beneficiary, right? So Hex particularly going to be a beneficiary. Even after it loses its proxy status for Pulsechain, it's going to be a beneficiary of the wealth effect from the Pulsechain and Pulsex, because there's so many sacrifices from Hex that are in it. And, of course, dominating the sacrifice list is Hexkins. And so you're going to see a lot of wealth effect where stuff moves from these sort of medium exchange tokens like Pulse and Pulsecoin and the PLSX token into the wealth effect into Hex. So it's going to be fun to see that too. We see the circulating supply of Hex already, right? The special features of Hex playing out over time, and so that's going to help with that momentum. So it's going to be fun to see. Now, 2 days, of course. And we're going to talk about that. So the second secret of Pulsechain is really the fact that 2 days after approximately, we're going to see bridge and stable coins open up. And of course, if we don't already have some sort of US dollar indication with existing copies, we've got the bridge and stable coins opening up there. And of course, I'm expecting DAI to be a key stable at the beginning. Of course, that's going to be wrapped in and synthetically traded. So it's going to be fun to see that. I suspect that we may see some potentially good price movement in there. We'll see whether it's fractionalized, heavily fractionalized, which we're expecting on the stables that get copied over to Pulsechain. But the ones that come in over the bridge, they're the real thing. And of course, they're going to be synthetic versions of the wrap version. So they're going to lock the real token over on Ethereum and then offer the wrap version on the other side. And of course, have that flow through. As soon as you've got one price that's pegged to $1, as soon as you've got a stable coin, and even if it's not pegged to $1, but pretty close, you got US dollar reference prices, right? So that's going to be useful for a lot of people. Obviously, a ratio price without US dollars is still a price, but really, obviously, the market reflects a US dollar peg. It's going to be fun to see. So remember that. So the point is from that one is that you want to have dry powder, right? So you know there's going to be volatility in the first day or two. You want to have dry powder. You want to pick up the opportunities, and of course, getting in early. But your timing of the market is going to be really, really key to that. So you need to, really basically watch the monitor for a big part of the day if you're going to try and get a good deal, because there will be quite a big ratio of variations there. Now, generally, I probably wouldn't, if you're expecting let's put it this way, if you're expecting a couple hundred X on PulseX, if you're expecting, let's say in the first 6 to 12 months, you're expecting like a 600 Hex or so, 500, 600 Hex on Pulse. With the main chain. Now, the tokenomics of PulseX to me seems superior, obviously quite dramatically so, but the value perceptions, the narratives are very different. And so the main chain narratives are typically being priced up more, although I think PulseX will probably be the first super DEX to really challenge that narrative, but the timing could be very different in terms of its valuation. So the timing is always the difficult thing to get to choose. But in any case, if you've got a 600 X on Pulsechain over a certain period of time, 6 to 12 months, and maybe a 200 X on PulseX, for example, just on that scenario, it's kind of a decent bullish scenario. And then you're looking at you wouldn't want to pay a 3-to-1 ratio, would you? So I think that anything under the 3-to-1 ratio, I think you can think it's going to be tighter. Obviously, there's going to be volatility. You wouldn't really want to pay more than that in terms of ratio trading. But the other opportunity, of course, here on the second secret is really dry powder. Have dry powder. Look for those dips. Because once there's US dollar price, there'll be lots of volatility then too. So a second round of volatility. But once it gets in there, I think it's going to be really hard to hold the price back. So I really think Pulse and PulseX are going to do pretty well out of the gate. And they've got similar supply numbers, right? So the total supplies are different for Pulse and PulseX because the sacrifice, the origin accounts sacrifice different amounts. But the total public supply is very similar. Probably looking with the AMM bot for Pulsechain around about 15.5 trillion and around about 16.5 trillion for PulseX. So they're pretty similar numbers. So it's going to be interesting in that too. Obviously, there's way more, over maybe 3.5 times more sacrifices in the PulseX set. But quite a few of those have said they want to buy Pulse. So you sort of see there's going to be all these conflicting narratives going. And then, of course, you've got the Hex ratio trading going as well. So my general thing is have your dry powder ready. And I would just, my favorite strategy, and I think a lot of people have said this, is a no trade strategy. But if you're in a position where you want to pick up some bags, then just look for the dips and get in early and trying to follow the patterns that's going on the chart. And hopefully you'll get a good ratio or a good dollar price at the beginning. So that's very important. Now, then a third secret of Pulsechain, of course, is going to be the 4 to 6 weeks leverage. So that's important there. So obviously, so I wanted to quickly talk about Hex, of course, with the sacrifice set ratios, is that you really want to, if you are going to ratio trade Hex for Pulse, for example, you want to, make sure that you use the US dollar comparison and get yourself a good rate. So if you're going to trade, get Pulse, then obviously if you can beat out the price, and because Hex is only worth, not quite a third, but it's about 2.7 of what Hex was worth when people sacrificed. So you can take those numbers and work out a ratio that you want to do. That's I don't think the market's going to hold up to that. I think the market's going to be crazy. That's the problem. You can use some logical numbers, but the market ratio is going to be pretty crazy to start off with. But in any case, we've got 4 to 6 weeks leverage. This is the third secret, of course. 4 to 6 weeks after Pulsechain launches, after that bridge opens up, you're gonna have a lot of a DeFi launch. All the learning platforms from Fiat, famous. So you got margin trading, Fiat, banking coming in. You're gonna have liquid loans. You're gonna have Power City. You're gonna have obviously all the infrastructure set underneath that, the Teller, oracles and stuff like that. And of course, that's going to leverage up all the asset prices. So even if there's the initial excitement of the launch and there's a bit of a dip in those first 3 to 4 weeks, assuming there is this assumption, obviously we could get aggressive buying all the way through that period. And I think there's going to be a lot of buyers. There's always dips in the game though. So that's the thing. There's always dips in the game. And of course, then 4 to 6 weeks, people are not going to think about it. They're going to think about it, go, oh man, that was exciting. That first 2 weeks of Pulsechain, that was damn exciting. See those prices? Oh man, it's come off 70% now off the highs, because we know it's going to peak up and it's going to come back a certain percentage before it starts ramping up in value. And man, people are going to go, wow, that was exciting. And then of course, I sold out at a profit. I got a 2x, I got 3x, or whatever they're going to say. And then, of course, they're going to miss the whole boat, because 4 to 6 weeks later, we've got all the leverage lending coming, and they're going to miss that. And that's going to pump asset prices again. As people take their pulse, they lock it away, it becomes more scarce, they get stable coins, and then they go buy more of the stuff, and the price goes up, more buying demand. And we know that a lot of the Hex Tokens are sacrificed. A lot of the people want to accumulate a lot more volume. And I've done surveys on this channel, surveys with a couple of thousand people on them, and people saying I want to accumulate more. So if you've got the existing sacrifices want to accumulate more, there's always some big sellers. We know like wallets like DO1 are likely ones to do things like that. Then obviously don't miss out on that wave. Don't just go, oh man, I made this profit, oh I got it going good, because you're going to miss out. And after this, of course, the 4 to 6 weeks, that's going to be massive. Leverage buying is going to be massive. And then after that, we've got, once the price starts stabilizing and gets up to really good market caps, we've got other waves of pumpamentals coming in. We've got investment institutions, all sorts of stuff will start coming in. Index investment trusts, where they take potentially add Pulsechain to an index of top cryptos that they want to invest in. Obviously, layer 1 chains are considered pretty valuable, especially if they're flourishing, right? They're not ghost chains, then they get rallied up there. So pretty cool. And as we saw on all the coin listing sites, you can see Pulse on all of them. CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko, and Binance. So you can see it's a big deal. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, so massive leverage in there. The price pumps are going to be in those different waves. So don't get caught out by that. So that's the third big secret of Pulsechain value as well. So just to sum up, obviously before Pulsechain launches, get your top most popular ERC20s. They're going to be copied over as PRC20s. Obviously the top of the list there would be Hex. And of course that is also a proxy for Pulsechain. And of course you see the market there trying to head over 5 cents. Who knows what it can get to. Really could get very aggressive leading into Pulsechain launch. It's going to be fun to see that. And of course, remember, it's not just the Hex price, it's also a proxy for Pulsechain at the moment. So it's a really big deal there. Can get a lot of value added into that. Millions of dollars can flow very quickly, and liquidity can be pulled as well. So you can see the prices ramp up pretty big on excitement. Now, then of course, number 2, get your dry powder ready and pick up the dips early on, obviously. And then number 4 to 6 is, don't forget that there is big leverage coming in once all these big DeFi platforms launch, and they won't be about probably 4 to 6 weeks later. So you need to keep your ear to the ground on when those are coming, because they're going to be pretty good. And I suspect they're going to get a lot of adoption. We already know how valuable Aave is, and that's on Ethereum, one of the most valuable protocols. And of course, we're going to have a fiat fork of that, and that's going to open up to the retail book as well. It's a lot more retail friendly. As opposed to some of these other protocols, which tend to, particularly liquid loans, tend to need a couple thousand, at least a minimum, to operate. So just remember that 2,000, I think it is the price there. So take that into account. Now, overall, so those are the 3 secrets there. But of course, the ultimate secret is this, and this is a bonus round secret, and that is in the early times of these chains, that's when the best time to accumulate. So the first 6 to 18 months. They're typically the best, and particularly the first 6 months to accumulate, and particularly looking for dips. That's really cool to accumulate more and more, because these are main chains, and if this ends up being a top 5 chain, you can see the price will get valued up, particularly during bull markets over time. So very cool. Now obviously Pulsechain has a lot of mechanisms that other chains don't. We have Pulsex with the big giant buy and burn, that's a really big deal. And it's sort of self-fulfilling, right? PulseX stays low, then you're going to have massive burning volumes of PulseX. I mean, it's going to be massive, relatively speaking. And obviously that's self-fulfilling, right? Because it's like people go, well, this thing's burning so much, let's buy more of it. And so it's just going to go up in price. So that will slow down the absolute burning amount that's happening. So just remember that's going to be fun to see that. I suspect that PulseX is going to surprise to the upside. Really, remember, Pulsechain is going to be net deflationary, like Ethereum. Will depend on utilization, congestion, and the GUI, as opposed to PulseX, which is we know is full-on deflationary. The total supply will be decreasing with the big buy and burn. So if we end up getting 5,000 to 6,000 trading pairs, we get a really active DEX there. Remember, it's going to look to try and be the largest liquidity pool that is very attractive to yield farmers, and of course with the incentive token enticing them and the competitive fee as well. It's going to be pretty cool. And the buy and burn in there, pure buy and burn. No inflation coming in and with a burn coming out. There's none of that sort of tokenomics. It's just pure buy and burn. So it buys up the price and then it burns all the stuff it purchased. It is very, very cool. So it's going to be fun to see that. Now, obviously, with all those trading pairs, it's going to be fun to see the liquidity farmers come up. It's going to be pretty fun. So like I say, the early phases, get in there, and as we say, as the chain matures, gets more valuable, more protocols come, more Ethereum protocols come, more institutional investors on the demand side come, and that's really powerful. And of course, we've got the Hex Investment Trust focused on Hex at the moment, but they could easily, once they get public, focus on Pulsechain as well. And you could see that big fiat money coming in from the big markets like NASDAQ. You can see how this rolls out over the next couple of years. So getting in early as the overall principle there, that's the bonus secret of Pulsechain. It's going to be fun to see. Now, there's lots of other technology chains out there, but they're mostly ghost chains. They're mostly empty. They don't have the community. They don't have anything that they need. We've got everything. We've got the whole ecosystem. We've got the big community. We've got the big founder. And, of course, we've got lots of big supporters like Overwatch, Rack and Michelle, and others out there. It's going to be pretty fun to see. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. That is the 3 secrets of Pulsechain that you should know to be successful. So hopefully that helps out you if you're new to Pulsechain. Now, if you've been around for a while, you may have heard a lot of that stuff, but it's very, very important to remember. Now we're going to get into Hex Daily Stats. Before we do that, though, let's get into some of the comments. We're coming up to an hour and 12 on the live stream. So we're going to get into our final topic, which is Hex Daily Stats. So stay tuned for that. Let's see who else has jumped in the chat there. We've got 57 people watching at the moment, so big welcome to all of you. Let's see who has arrived. I think we got up to there. Where are you up to here? I wish the scroll on the comments on my studio didn't scroll so much, because that'd be a lot easier for sure. All right. We got up to there for sure. We got KD in the house there. Hey, KD, good to see you with the Supermans. Hey, all great to see you, Superman, says KD. Dave down under says, hi, Superman. Hope Hex price goes up, and away. I like that. See what you did there. That's pretty cool. Brendan says, maybe Maxi DAO might do a validated stake pool as well contract. Yeah, maybe. I would suspect so. Brendan, that would be really cool if they did that. But they've obviously got to support the software, so that's a bit of a hardware commitment as opposed to the immutable codes. A bit easy to just let it up and run generally. Thank you for the constant updates in the space token. I appreciate all the work you do. Hey, you're welcome, and it's good to see you in the chat as well. By the way, Sandy Beach in the house. Good to see Sandy, one of our awesome community members and moderators. Sandeep in the house there. Good morning. Good morning to you, Sandeep. And what else we got there? Hex and SB. Good to see Hex and SBs and us. Tim the Outdoor Barber as well. Woohoo! Good to see you. Meme Tech says, so there will be 2 wallets. Will Richard Hart's have a sacrifice token? We are expecting a sacrifice for Richard Hart's token. My personal view is that we'll see it after Pulsechain launch. Some people might have an argument for seeing it before, but I kind of feel that would work pretty well with the fundamentals all round. So yeah. That would certainly get rid of the circulating supply on both chains. So that could be a possibility there. Sandy Beach says, I'm waiting, says Sandy, for the wait token. She is indeed. Mixed in the house as well. Good to see you. Who else is here? Bob says, no, we're going to jump past Bob's comment. That's for someone else. I'm going to jump through all that. KD says the highest of stakes. Yeah, that's expected to come out Q1, Q2 as well. That's also another massive fundamental for Hex and Pulsechain. So that could be absolutely huge. The more streamers that they get, like Disney or Netflix or Prime or anything like that, that could potentially reach millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of people. So that would be certainly pretty epic for Pulsechain and Hex, and of course all the influencers in the space would be spreading the word on that. And as it's not just the Hex and Pulsechain YouTubers and Twitter influencers and TikTok influencers, Instagram, etc. But it's also the big giant ones on YouTube that are starting to cover Pulsechain, who are sacrificed, like Ivan on Tech and BitBoy and people like that. So Carl the Moon. So it's going to be pretty epic to see that. You can see how this all is going to build on each other. It's all going to layer on top of each other. You can sort of see how it's expanding like a balloon beam blowing up. And we're seeing all these signs happen already manifesting at this early stage. So it's very, very bullish. Scott says, good morning all. Good to see you, Scott. The horn. What horn? There's no horn. There's no horn. Where'd that horn come from? Sandy, stop playing around the studio. Leave the toys alone. Leave the toys alone. All right, it's cool. Let's get into the final session. Here we've got the Hex Daily Stats. Let's do it. And of course, day 1167, hot off the press, the 11th of February. The price snapshot at 4.972, up 6.5% today, so it's nice. We've got the Hex payout per T-share. This is the main reward that you get when you stake Hex. You buy Hex, stake Hex, check out hex.com in the video description. And of course, you get T-shares. That's what you're after. And you get a certain payout of Hex per day. 6.411, that's a very good day in the office. We've got some penalties included in there as well. That's very nice. The T-share price there, $1,279, and the share rate's gone at 6.5 to 25,733. The average stake length is 6.5 years, so hexagons are around a long time. And the APY rate there, including the inflation yield and emergency in-stake penalties, is 36.86%. Amazing, right? Amazing. And one of the special things about Hex, unique actually, I think, in that sense, it's going to be fun to see. So very cool. Now, obviously, the US dollar price moves around, but the Hex yield is amazing. The liquidity in the pool, 85.9 million Hex in the pool. Yes, it's going down, down, down. We were up only like 20 days ago. We were up at like 288 million Hex or something in the pool. Now we're down to 85, so we've 200 million disappeared. So it's kind of cool. Either been withdrawn from the market or bought. That's pretty much it. So 85.9 million Hex in the pool. That is very neat indeed. Let's jump over to the T-shares. So we've got the T-shares have gone down massively. We were expecting that today. So 15,932, that was that big candle. What was it, about 360 million Hex that was coming out? That was our second day in a row. So that's 15,932 T-shares out. So we're down to 10,271,000. And I suspect that when we get this big stake coming out, we can see the stakes coming out. So we've got this on the 12th and 13th. So we've got 220 million Hex coming out tomorrow. And of course, we've got that's the same day as we've got the Hex HSI second round starting with about 6,000 or 7,000 T-shares. Then we've got the 13th, we've got 294 million Hex. And then we've got the big candle there, 2.43 billion. And of course, that's coming out there. It's going to be fun to see. I suspect that we'll probably get about 100,000 T-shares out there. So if we look at the line here, we've got about 130,000 T-shares. So I think that's around about 100,000 in that candle or so. So it's going to be fun to see that come out. And of course, that will reduce this by 100,000 unless it restakes, right? So that's going to be interesting to see. So 10, 10 to 7. So we could get down to 10. That's a new low. It's going to be crazy. Crazy stuff there. New local low. It's going to be interesting on the trend there. That means the APY, the payouts go up. It's going to be cool. Now, what happens? Was it going to restake? Is this going to restake? What's going to happen there? That impacts the APY, the inflation, and potentially, and the initial pull. So it's going to be fun to see what happens there. And it affects all these short, large holders that keep staking, which is fine. And that's just part of the mechanism of Hex. They get the reward, but they get traded off. They don't get the longer pays better bonus and things like that. So there's a trade-off there. And if the share rate's going up, the earlier pays better bonus is going to be more costly for them too. So that's kind of cool. All right, let's see what happens there. It's going to be fun to see. I like that sort of thing. 10.09% of Hex is staked at the moment. We've got almost 3 million in penalties. And of course, we saw a lot of that during the whale bot when we looked at that information. Pretty cool. Let's have a look at the growth of Hex at the moment. So Hex is up 153 accounts on Etherscan. So we're up to 319,411. The main event, the headline number for us though, is the stakers. Hex is all about staking, getting T-shares, and getting that Hex reward. Longer pays better, bigger pays better, and earlier pays better with the share rate. So those are the three things you need to learn. They help with your effective bonus when you get T-shares, and of course then you sit back and just sit back and wait for those rewards come in every single day at the end of the day of UTC time. So cool. We got 36 increase in the stakers up to 118,512. I'll be interested to see what this is like when the Heist of Stakes film documentary comes out. And of course, Pulsechain and everything else is going to be fun to see this. We'll have two chains, of course. Going to be pretty cool. Now, change in total holders up 295 to 530,000. That is our total hold numbers. That's day 1167. The third month of the fourth year of Hex journey. And we're now on day 1168. And the base T-share rate there at the moment, Hex per T share payout is 6.25. That's pretty much it. So we've got this big stake coming out on the 14th. And of course, after that comes out, we're expecting the share rate to jump around about 600 Hex per T-share. So make sure you get your stakes in to the next 2 days or so. Get them in because it's going to jump and earlier pays better in Hex. So otherwise, you're going to be paying 600 Hex more per T-share. So that's pretty important there. So if you're doing 10 T-shares, it's 6,000 Hex more that you'll have to pay for your T-shares. So just remember that. All right, that is pretty much it. Look at the rest of the candles, though. After these short stakers, look at the rest of this, the next 6 months. Not many candles here. Obviously, these things here will flow forward, but they'll have relatively less T-shares as they do so, unless they buy on the market. So let's see what goes there. Pretty cool. Hex at the moment is at 4.974, heading towards back over 5 cents again. Chart looking pretty spicy to me, looking pretty spicy. Let's have a quick look at the crypto market as well. And see where we're going. Very exciting, folks. Honestly, you guys got to be happy about this. Looking really good. Sandy Beach says, I love the horn. You're welcome. CJ announced it. Thumbs up. Nice one, CJ. Good to see you. And Brennan says, if Godwell does restake, do we still get that 600 Hex bump in T-shares? Should do. It's based on the highest ROIs last time I remember. So should get the jump there. Katie in house there. What's that? Crabs? What is that? Oh, horns. It's horns. I thought it was crabs, Katie. That's horns. Yeah. All right. What else? What else there? We've got lies beneath in there. What's that? The microphone and the cat or something like that. I'm not sure. Good to see everybody. All right. Let's find out here. Right, so we've got BTC and ETH starting to move back up. It's just kind of a cool sign, and it couldn't happen at a better time, right? And help us pump up past 5 cents, and maybe over the remaining Saturday and Sunday, things will happen. Let me see what time it is in the US at the moment. Los Angeles, it's currently yesterday, still Saturday, and it's currently man, it's only 5 minutes to 5. It's only 5 in the afternoon in LA, so a long way to go on the weekend. So it bodes well for the Hex chart here, folks, especially with crypto turning back positive. And of course, in New York, it's currently 8 o'clock in the evening. So lots of time for the Hex pump here over the weekend. And then London is, what time is it in London? It's today. It's Sunday in London, but it's only, it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning. So they've only just ended Sunday. Whereas in good old New Zealand here, Australia, or at least New Zealand time, it is currently almost 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday. And I'm pretty sure the weather's probably changing outside as we've got this big giant storm coming. Batter down the hatches. I should have, towards the end of the week, I should have 2 big interviews on this channel. It's been a while since I've done interviews. And so we've got two awesome people that I think are some of the very best in our ecosystem in terms of knowledge and value that they're adding to Pulsechain. So stay tuned for that. This later on in the week. So yeah, have a couple of interviews on the new format too. So I got to work out how to do that. So it should be fun in this new software. So stay tuned. It's going to be fun. All right. What else? What else am I doing? I think that's pretty much it. We've got the Hex chart here going pretty nicely. Let's get rid of the right-hand side. And what time are we up to? 1 hour and 24. We're going to go for another 5 hours. Let's look at this chart. So get your questions in there, folks. If you got any questions, get them in. And if you've heard any news that we haven't covered on this channel, we covered a lot of good project updates today. We had 4 of them. It was amazing. Brennan says, any update with the bug on test yet? No update there, Brennan. That's in private testnet. Has it been fixed? Well, that's just one of those things they'll be working on. I'm sure they'll get it fixed there. No problems. P Money says, just get here. What's the secrets? You'll have to go back, but I will have a timestamp. P Money back after the live stream. I will do a timestamp. People can jump to that. So stay tuned. Brennan says near 12 p.m. in Australia, almost lunchtime there for Brennan. I can hear the light rain pitter-patting before the big winds go. The big issue with the storm is is the winds, right? If we get these massive winds, and I think they were originally going to be 150 kilometers, but I think they've come down. The storm, I think it's been re-rated down, so to a category 2, I think. I have to double check, but I think that's the case. That's still pretty fast winds, like 100 to 130 kilometer winds probably. So it's pretty bad. So the roof, you want the roof to stay on, right? The roof has got to stay on. I feel really sad for people that have been in storms and the roof takes off the house. I mean, that's completely catastrophic when the roof takes off the house. And it's, I guess it's not quite as bad. Well, is it quite as bad? What if your roof this is the worst scenario. So you got massive floods, you've got massive winds, and your roof goes off, and you're flooded around with water everywhere. So you can't jump onto the roof. That's pretty clamorous there. Anyway, let's turn to a more positive note. Hex price is looking pretty good here, trying to get back over 5 cents, very close, and got over 5 cents a couple hours ago, so look forward to that. And Heck80 says, nice new interviews coming. Yep, definitely coming on the channel. Just going to pick up there 2 very, very good ones, so it's going to be very neat. Another 5 hours, let's go, says Brennan. And also look at BNBP, says Hexodl. Yeah, we covered BNBP Hexodl. Pumpamentals, yeah, we covered that. Thanks very much. I got some at $1 at Dex Guru limit, and well done, Hexodl. You really got the bottom. You pulled the bottom on that. Well done to you. It's like a 3x in a week. Well done indeed. Because the devs are back from vacation. Yeah, they're away for about 3 weeks or so. So it's very cool. Devs did something lol, says Hexodl. Nice. Yeah, well, Hexodl, you picked it. You picked the bottom. I did cover it earlier. I'm doing a separate video on it, by the way. I'm doing a separate video. All right, I think that's pretty much. We're kind of go. We've got 3 more minutes left on the live stream. Let us know any other comments you got in the chat there while we go. We've got the Hex price here, teasing us at 4.968 and looking good. So let's go to the 15-minute chart, and this is our 15-minute chart at the moment. Let's see. All we need is a little power move up here. Power move, and up and away. It's going to be fun. We're almost back to the sell-off, right? The sell-off here. We got almost back to. We were at 5.15. And of course, actually, that's pretty much where the sell-off was. So the sell-off was pretty much at where we got to. So that's pretty cool. And that was all the traders and that selling off the slaying the bugs. It's starting to rain. I can hear it just at the end of the live stream. Starting to rain outside. I've got to go pick up all the loose items. You know, like the little ornaments and things like that, and put them away. So I'll have to do that. I'll probably get wet doing it now that it started raining. Just the way it goes. Thank you, Hex Token says. Yeah. Hexol says still 90% off its casino value of $30. Yeah, 30x on that was amazing. We must be getting the edge of the winds here in Australia starting to pick up as well. Only 30-kilometer winds though, says Brennan. Yeah. I think it's still early. It's just starting to ramp up. I think we're just in the preset here for the storm. It's Sunday here, 2 o'clock, and I think it's supposed to be building up today into Monday and Tuesday. I think Monday, Tuesday are supposed to be the worst times, particularly Tuesday, I think, and then Wednesday maybe taper off, hopefully. So therefore, we're holding down the hatches. Displays, he says, Dev, do something. Pudding Guru says, you're a machine. Hey, thanks, Pudding Guru. Appreciate that. I am machine. I am controlled by the AI. The way it goes. All right. Drum roll, please. We're up to 1 hour and 30. We got Hex at 4.96. We've had a great show. Man, we have had a great show. We've talked about the 3 secrets plus a bonus secret for doing well, succeeding well on Pulsechain. We've had 4 Pulsechain project updates, which is pretty awesome. Internet money, which was awesome. And of course, Power City, that was fantastic. We've got AI, we've got wallets, we've got profit sharing. It's so awesome. Sacrifice projects launching. We've got InvestX with something big coming up in the future. That's countdown 2 days. It was awesome, right? So we've got some cool updates. It's been a great show. and Pulsechain is just warming up. We're just warming up. Tell your friends. Don't let them miss out. Remember to do their investment due diligence. That's for sure. Blame it on the rain. Yeah, Milli Vanilli. That's true. That's for sure. All right, we're up to round 30. We're going to finish. Take care, everybody. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, hit the bell. See you in Discord. It's free. It's free. It's free. And, of course, we've got the best community in there. And it's heading towards 1,100 members. Very, very cool indeed. All right, take care, everybody. Bye for now. We're going to switch out here somehow. Operator, I need some help. Operator, all right, you can do it. Peace.
Yes.